People are going wild with the capabilities of AI Studio inside of GoHighLevel. And recently, I saw somebody post online saying it's great, but you can't do anything with the stuff it creates. And that's when I say, hold my champagne. You see, I recently thought so too until I took a little deeper look instead of just looking head on and said, okay, how is this possible? Because in the words of Marie Forleo, everything is figure outable. And I noticed when I went inside of my CRM, of my sub-account in GoHighLevel, in which I had AI Studio turned on, I noticed that the forms that it was creating, the beautiful opt-in forms, the forms for people to submit an application or to fill out some type of a survey to qualify themselves as a lead, were showing up as a form submission, but an external form, which got me thinking. Let me show you the solution to trigger a workflow by a submission to a form that is created by AI Studio and not having to create a form or survey inside of your sub-account first and then bringing it into AI Studio. This is a game changer, and I'm sure it is only the beginning. Okay, so here we are. Inside of AI Studio. And here is one of the sites that I had worked on inside of AI Studio for my own personal brand. And one of the services I offer is a VIP strategy day. And when they go ahead and apply for this VIP day, they fill out a form. Now, the issue I was running into, like I've heard many people are, is when they have a form that was created by AI Studio, they were unable to actually receive this submission and fire a workflow off, with this being the trigger, meaning the form submitted. I also had another client site that I did this with where it created an interactive quiz about which loan was correct for them and which programs they may qualify for through a quiz that they took. And I couldn't get those submissions to fire off a workflow either and start to nurture that lead. So I went over here and I asked, what did you call this form? Because what I discovered was inside of my sub-account, if I were to go here like we would to forms, I was able to see that it was a submission, but it was under this new category of an external form submission. So how was this happening? And I asked it, hey, what did you call that form? And like I said, everything is figure outable. And I headed over to workflows and I figured out that this was an external form submission. So right now, what we actually have is we have a trigger for an external tracking event. I've already done it here, but let me show you how it's set up. So a recent trigger here, just type in the word external and it'll show up. And you hit add filter. The filter in an event is any of forms submitted. Then add a filter. Now, you can click on external form and then the name of that form that it created. So let me mention here really fast that you have to ask. Sometimes the name is very, very obvious if you don't have a ton going on in there. If you only have one external form, it will be very obvious as to which one it is. This one, they clearly labeled VIP Day application for me. I did have to ask, and one other thing I had to do in order to get this form to name to show up, I did have to push a test record through that form on my VIP Day page, or else it wasn't populating. This list was just blank. So once I submitted a test record, I did refresh, and the choices here did refresh, and I did have VIP Day application. Now I'm going to close this out because I don't need it. I already have it here. Then we can go ahead and set up an internal notification or an email to go to that lead, letting them know we received it. So one other point I wanted to mention here is I put the information in here. Now I sometimes like to say name, so then the name fills in here again with the custom field. If you don't know how to do this, exactly what you do is you click on this little tag right here, contact, and then you can put in their full name. And then you do the same thing for email. Again, I like to label it, even though it's pretty obvious what that's going to be when an email address fills in. I think at this point, we all know that if it has a little at, gmail.com or something, it is the email address. Same thing with the phone number. Now, here was the questions on the application. So this one I called struggles, and they named this field main tech struggle. The question on my VIP day form is, what is the main tech struggle right now? It is very close to what the custom field is here, the name of it. Okay. The next one I had a little bit of a trouble with. It says, what does success look like for you? And I was looking up the words, what does success look like for you, when I was trying to find this field. However, I had to go to AI Studio and say, hey, what was the key or query that you made this submission, this question, this custom field question? And it said VIP day goal, which makes sense. What is their goal for the VIP day? What does a successful VIP day look like? And then I was able to pull this through. And when I tested it, I was able to actually get the answers pushed through to myself. So we have the form that it was created. Once they submit it, the data is passed through, and you can see here in the execution logs that I have tested it multiple times in the enrollment history. I did some tests. I made a new one for this recording, but everything did come through. I received the internal notification, and then I was removed at the end of the workflow. Here, I would personally maybe tag them, add them to a pipeline, start them on a sequence of emails to kind of let them know what they're in for and make sure they're prepared for maybe an upcoming interview call or whatever your VIP day process looks like. So there you have it. All of the latest and greatest of the AI Studio. And I know it's brand new, but that question was killing me when somebody said, oh, that's good, but it can't do this and it can't do that. And to that, I tell you, hold my champagne, because the Technically Smart Blonde has figured it out. If you want help utilizing AI Studio for your business, or maybe you're looking to migrate into HighLevel and you're not sure what to do, how do you migrate without the mayhem? I'm the girl for you. From VIP days to done-for-you services, we have it all, and I would be more than happy to take your application through my automated workflow, take a look around, and see where we can best work together. I will see you inside of TechFlow Pro.